Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching KTK Plus. I'm your host, Tristen VanBeem, and I just want to say thank you all so much for tuning in and watching this interview that I'm about to have today. This is a pretty special one because, as many of you may know, January is Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and with me today is Sergeant Adam Albritton with Texas Department of Public Safety to explain to us the dangers of human trafficking and what we can do to try and prevent it. Sergeant Albritton, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Tristan. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. All right, Adam. So could you start us off by explaining what acts are considered human trafficking?
Yeah, so human trafficking is a use of force, fraud, or coercion in any type of labor exploitation or commercial sex act, or when an individual under the age of 18 is involved in a commercial sex. So that's kind of the basis for human trafficking.
All right. And then can you tell me about the DPS human trafficking program? What are you guys doing to help prevent these kind of cases in the East Texas area?
Yeah, so the our criminal investigations division in the Department of Public Safety is the one who kind of heads up a lot of the human trafficking. Our special agents are kind of the ones in charge of, you know, investigating these and bringing those types of suspects to justice. And from September 2024 through August of 2025, our DPS special agents recovered 119 human trafficking victims in that span and arrested 690 suspects on human trafficking related charges. So that program is headed up for our CID or Criminal Investigations Division, and so they're it kind of shows with that the scope of the problem and the importance of the ongoing enforcement.
Wow, that is tragically just a lot of cases that happens. And, it's just sad to see that so many people are falling victim to this kind of behavior. And I just want to ask, what apps or social media do people try to use to lure others in? And how is how is maybe social media playing a factor in these human trafficking cases?
Yeah, unfortunately, social media is a big gateway to human trafficking, and apps such as Snapchat, Instagram, even Facebook, any type of app that has like a chat or messaging system. We want to monitor those, especially with our teenage children. If you have a young daughter that's a teenager, if they have any one of these apps, there's other ones called KIK, KIK. There's another one too that they're using these types of apps to talk to teenage girls and young teenagers, and that's kind of the gateway into human trafficking. There's other ways too. I mean, gaming apps such as Roblox is basically an online chat room. That anyone could sign up and use Roblox and get an account, and with a microphone that's attached to your ear, or a microphone and a headset, you can talk to anybody and everybody in there. And there's kids playing that, young kids and teenagers alike. But we have to be aware that adults are also on there and using those type of gaming apps to talk and lure kids.
So it's honestly, they're just using apps to, let's say, a 40-year-old man could just pretend to be, a 16-year-old boy to try to lure in someone of that same age. Is that something that we're kind of seeing in these apps like Instagram and Snapchat?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could have a grown 40-year-old man pretend to be a young kid, or it could just be a grown man pretend just talking to them, and we call that grooming. Where they're trying to talk to them and make them feel comfortable, and then that ends up luring those teenagers and young kids, unfortunately.
Well, so what can the parents do in order to help their kids or to help prevent their kids from being trafficked in this sort of way? I know that it's very hard to just take away all their social media apps altogether, and you don't want to be that parent that doesn't let them have any fun. But how can they make sure that their kids are staying safe and not talking to strangers who might not have the best intentions?
Sure, yeah, it's a fine balance to make sure that we're monitoring our kids' social media. How many friends that they have on social media. A lot of them think that they're just going to accept every friend that friend request that they have just for I've got so many friends, but do you know that person? And do you know that person as the parent? that has that friend on there. So we want to make sure that we're monitoring who, our kids are talking to online. What type of apps they have, on their computers, on their phones, whatever devices that they're using, to make sure that they're not talking to, someone, or that they think that they're talking to someone that they know and it's someone else.
All right, and then obviously it is very scary as a parent or either as a victim if you are somehow getting involved in human trafficking and maybe someone is trying to traffic you. So, what should you do to report human trafficking if you do suspect it? Do you need to have any hard evidence to file a report, or does it just start by getting that ball rolling?
Yeah, there's things that we can do as the public to help prevent human trafficking, and that is looking for indicators of human trafficking. And sometimes those indicators could be, people that are looking homeless, but or maybe not dressing for the type of weather. If it's cold outside and they have shorts or, like a tank top on, that may not be, something to look into, right? But not just one thing. It could be a multitude of things. So we want to make sure, people that are being controlled physically by another person. I'm looking at notes here that I've made for, indicators that have human trafficking, signs of injury and illness and malnutrition. People that are that avoid eye contact. Those are kind of things that we want to look for. That are kind of indicators of people that may be trafficked by other humans.
So some people may try to seem either weak or just maybe seem like they're in a bad spot to kind of prey on your kindness and try to take advantage of you. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, someone that's vulnerable, that has gone through some hardships at home. That's an easy target for someone trafficking. People that have had some loss in family or gotten into drugs, those are things that they prey on. People that are kind of vulnerable, for sure.
Wow, that's sad. So it's sad that some of these, people involved in human trafficking, they might try to prey on people that have experienced family members or something that actually go through those hard times. So when they see someone homeless out in the street, maybe the victim at some point had a homeless family member, and now they're like, "Oh, I feel bad for them. I want to help them out," and then all of a sudden they're in a very tough position.
Yep,
That's very
absolutely,
sad.
absolutely.
So now that we kind of know what human trafficking looks like, is there a hotline that people can use to report human trafficking? Because sometimes maybe just calling your local police department may seem pretty scary. So is there another option that people have if they do want to report these kind of acts?
Yeah, the hotline. There is a hotline. It's a national human trafficking hotline. It's 1-888-373-7888. You can also text "Be Free" to 233-733, and those are two options that you could do. You could also make a report anonymously using iwatchtexas.org. You can go online, and they also have the iWatch Texas app that they can download on their phone, or any available device that you can make a report anonymously to any type of suspicious behavior. So if there's something that's unusual that you're seeing, especially like if you're traveling, going to like a hotel out of state, or out even within Texas somewhere, and you see there's a lot of in and out of certain hotel rooms, especially young women, teenagers. We want to maybe try to report that. Now, if there's something emergent that needs an emergency, of course we need to call 911.
All right. And then also, how can people reach out to DPS or maybe just their local law enforcement agencies? Do they have to use some sort of non-emergency line to do that, or how would that go?
Yeah, so for human trafficking cases, because the Department of Public Safety is kind of the one heading that, you can go online to our website at www.dps.texas.gov and find your local DPS office. And there is a link to or a phone number that you can call, try to get in touch with one of the public information officers, or you can contact our office at the Highway Patrol, and we can get you in touch with one of our DPS special agents to report all that activity.
All right, awesome. Well, Adam, thank you so much for that information. I just want to ask for one last question. Is there any lasting message that you have for the viewers watching this at home, just about human trafficking, how to avoid it, how to report it, and then also just how we can all help prevent these sort of acts from happening in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. The the human trafficking often happens in silence, right? It's when no one's watching, or that we want to be able to use the Texans, our fellow Texans' voice to try to get this out to prevent it. So if you have some sort of suspicion that someone is being trafficked, please report that, and we can try to prevent these cases in the future. Now, we don't want anyone to put themselves in danger by confronting a trafficker or a suspect of that. We don't want to put anybody in harm's way, so we use the hotline. We use iWatch Texas to safely report that.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sergeant Albritton, for sharing all that information with us. I really appreciate your time, and I really appreciate you educating East Texans about how they can keep themselves and their family members safe during any suspected human trafficking situations. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.